Tiger fans, Greenville is a wonderful place to call home, and take it from me, a great place to grow your family. The housing market can be an extremely competitive and intimidating place if you don't have the right agent. That's why we recommend our friend and local agent Lana Smith with Live Upstate SC Real Estate. She is a native of Greenville and has been serving the needs of families in the upstate for over 20 years. You need an agent proficient in navigating the world of multiple offers who will put your needs first and guide you through the process. Let Lana help you achieve your real estate goals. Call her today at 864-608-8313. Again, that's 864-608-8313. And let's get moving. If you're looking for a great atmosphere and good food, you have to check out the Charleston Sports Pub. They're the premier sports bar location in South Carolina with locations in Clemson, Greenville, Goose Creek, James Island, Mount Pleasant, Summerville, and West Ashley. Watch all the games while you have fun playing all their games. Tiger fans, we dine there, legends dine there like Taj Boyd, and so should you. Go eat at the Charleston Sports Pub in Clemson every game day. 359 College Avenue, Clemson. Family owned and operated, serving Anderson County and surrounding areas since 1980. Heating and Cooling Services, Inc. is your residential and commercial comfort expert. Anything from preventative maintenance of your home HVAC system to overhauling a commercial chiller and everything in between. If you want to breathe easier and be nice and cool in your home or business this summer or warm this winter, give Heating and Cooling Services, Inc. a call today. Give Mark or Jason Trammell a call at 864-224-7655. Again, 864-224-7655, and they'll take good care of you. Tiger fans, we don't just dress for success, we TS for success. That's Tiger Sports Shop. We shop there so much that they practically begged us to be sponsors for them. Not serious, but we do love shopping at Tiger Sports Shop in one of their two locations, 364 College Avenue and 1102 Tiger Boulevard in Clemson. If you're not in Clemson to check out the experience, stop by online at www.tigersports.com. Again, tigersports.com for all your game day needs. We are getting ready to be a part of the show. We're getting ready to get the show started. About 2 minutes to go. Get in the chat, say hello, because starting 2 minutes. Can't wait. 18 days. Clemson football is almost here. Yes, fellas, we are back. The Morgan Thomas Show every Thursday night, 7 p.m. on Facebook or YouTube. We appreciate you. Thank you for getting in, and I also appreciate my co-host. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Thomas, but let me introduce the other fine gentleman right next door. That is Big Al, Alan Adams, over on the other side. Not in the middle tonight. I don't know why, but Big Al, welcome in.
You got to save the special guy for the middle, no doubt. I understand, and that's cool. I've accepted my role as second best, and here we are. But hey, another week closer, guys. I mean, we're almost there. I mean, it's just around the corner. I'm so excited for some Clemson football. Ready to see if all these rumblings you hear about practice, come to fruition during the game day under the lights. So ready to rock and roll. Even though we have to wait a brutal opening weekend all the way till Monday night until we play. Ready for it to be here, man.
Monday night. Oh, man. You got to wait. Monday night. What are we going to do, Al? What are we going to do? Maybe watch Formula One replays?
You can do that.
Gross.
Mr. Houston Burnett in the middle. Welcome in, Houston. Thank you for joining the show.
Yeah. Alec, I don't think you gave yourself enough credit, man. You're the Vaughn Grissom of this lineup. You're the one, the Michael Harris, if you will.
Allowing that, no doubt.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, right. This, hey, what, 4.5 out? Braves are coming,
Yes.
baby. It's that time of year, football and Braves season, baby.
Houston, who am I?
So many jokes.
You know what? Never mind. You know what? Never mind. We'll just move on to the next subject. Let's just forget about that. Obviously, I'm way too good. I'm probably Alex Anthopoulos. That's probably who you were thinking to say. Because I'm that knowledgeable, I'm that smart, I'm that educated. Hey, look at the team that I've put together right here on this show, and tell me I'm not the best GM ever. Come on. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the chat and say hello to our other friends that join us every single week, 7 p.m. Facebook and YouTube. By the way, this is actually the last week of just Facebook and YouTube, because next week is the Roar's big kickoff show at Twin Peaks, 5 to 8 p.m. Thursday, the 25th. So I will be there. So if you're looking for me on YouTube, we will not be on YouTube, but we will be. Well, some of us, if you guys are invited, you can come. I'll be there. Just like last year, we were there. The hosts will be there, and we can be at Twin Peaks and talk basically the college football kickoff show. So that's going on next Thursday. So there'll be no live show. And then the next Thursday after that is we're right back in. I'm announcing it here first. We're back on the radio September 1st?
Yep.
Yes, September 1st, we'll be back on the radio, 105.5 and 97.5 FM, The Roar. So you can tune in there. I'll try to get it streaming as well, but you guys know all my, you know how well that goes. So we'll see how streaming on the road works again this year. Maybe 2022 is a different year at Big Al. I know you have faith in me.
No doubt, without a doubt.
Let's get into the chat and say hello to our friends here tonight. Taco Gaming 75 gets in and says first. You know what? It's always good to be first. Kevron might be kind of mad at you for getting in first before him. That's rare. That's a rare sight to get in before Kevron. Tig says, yo, Mr. Morgan T, how's Big Al and Houston?
All good
We're
here,
good. We're alive. We're kicking.
Typhoon in the AZ in the house. Typhoon, welcome in.
It's a dry heat in Arizona.
It's a dry heat.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's dry heat. Have you never been to Arizona?
I've been.
Oh, well, so then it's what you know because you've been there.
Yeah,
well, he went in the winter.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, in the winter, there's no winter in Arizona. Get out of here. We went in the winter, Al, and it was 95 degrees.
Yeah, it was warm.
Kevron gets in, says, good evening. Good evening, Kevron. Welcome in. Where's the full? Okay. Later on in the chat, he's gonna give us the full. What's up, fellas? We too deep. Go Tigers. Brent Jones says, let's get it. Go Tigers. So welcome in, Brent. Kevron, again, this is his normal post. Good evening, Big Al, Alan Adams, Houston Burnett, and Morgan Thomas. Go Tigers from Cope, South Carolina, and Bamberg. He's been throwing in Bamberg tonight.
Bamberg to the chat. Okay.
All right. Clemson Carson says, "What's up, guys?" Bible Belt says, "Woo! What's up, everyone?" My dad says, "Joey Thomas is watching." Thank you, Joey Thomas. William Willis says, "Hello, guys. Bet the season has you riled up as much as us regular fans." Hey, let me correct you there. We are the regular fans, my friend. We are just like you. There's nothing different. We just have to do something crazy, which is called being on a YouTube channel. We're just regular dudes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Brent Jones says, "Nice dance music." Yeah, I hope you got a little groove on. You know,
Turn up.
Lathered up, Hal.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
Oh man, this morning Mickey was educating me on what lathered means, and then Alan was texting in like, "This fool doesn't know what lathered means because he's never played enough minutes in church basketball to know what lathered means." But anyways, Britt Jones gets in, says, "Go Braves! Big game tonight, huge game." Well, it depends on who you talk to, but
big game.
It's a big game.
Bible Belt says NASCAR greater than Formula One greater than NASCAR.
Accurate.
No.
NASCAR greater than Formula One.
No. Come on, Bible Belt. Don't do this to me.
A doubt.
Don't do this to me.
Nobody likes Formula One.
Lightbulb Bill thinks Houston looks unusually all spruced up and tidy.
I had a doctor's appointment today. I didn't look nice. I can't.
He had a doctor's appointment.
Once I get the hair going, man. Once I get it off.
He had a doctor's appointment, Lightbulb. Yeah. He had a doctor's appointment. Mel gets in, just curious, do any of you guys know why the ACC network canceled Packer and Durham? Well, I don't know why. I have a lot of speculation about why they may have done that. But it seems as if they're doing a new show called ACC PM with Mark Packer, who is one of the guys that when I was growing up, I listened to him and I wanted to be in the radio because of him. I like listening to him in the afternoon with my dad. So he's kind of a guy that inspired me, but they got to do something on the ACC to spark it up, man. I mean, change it up, liven it up. 4 to 7 is a tough time. Hopefully he can show out. I'm not going to be I don't want to be disrespectful to the other sports out there, but it's just there's only so much you can talk about, like lacrosse and like water polo. I think we talked about this on the show. I mean, if you're trying to like actually improve in ratings and get more viewers, you got to be talking. I mean, as you guys know, when we do this YouTube channel, we do a baseball video, gets maybe a couple hundred views, right? We do a softball video, gets a couple hundred views. We do just any random football video, thousands of views. So you kind of have to follow football, and if you're talking about all these other things,
Sorry.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I know you want to give a platform to the other sports, but sometimes I watch it and I'm like, I don't know if I can follow this. I mean, I don't know anything about Syracuse lacrosse, I mean, or if they even have one, I don't know. Taco says, "Yo." Also says, "I put a reminder on for this show like noon today." How about that? He put a reminder on to come to the show. I appreciate that. Bill gets in, says, "Let's go." Garnet Lee. Now, Garnet Lee, why would you name yourself Garnet Lee? Why not Orange Lee or Regalia Lee or Purple Lee or Garnet? Okay. Oh, so he's French. Garnet?
Well, I'm thinking of Kevin Garnett, so maybe he goes by Garnett.
Alan, are you following this? Garnett?
I'm needing an explanation from Garnett Lee himself. Before,
just might as well be maroon.
Might as well be maroon. Red for short.
Mark Palmer gets in, says, "From Flowtown, headed to Tiger Town this weekend to move in my daughter into her sophomore year." Congratulations on the sophomore year.
Article on Rubbing the Rock. Check out. I just wrote in a Moving Week article this week on Rubbing the Rock. Go check that out at Rubbing the Rock. It's also on my Twitter at Radio Guy Houston.
How about it? Kevron says Burnett looks like the front styling of my sister's 2010 Volkswagen Passat CC 4-door coupe.
Wow, that's oddly specific.
Extra chrome.
Oddly specific.
Extra chrome. How about the Big Ten concert? Alan has the best hat of the group tonight. Well, he has the only hat of the group.
Facts.
John says, love Formula One, most advanced engineering in the world. Thank you, Mike.
John, get out of here. You're better than that, John.
Drop.
I love you, Big John, but come on, NASCAR grader, no doubt.
Mic drop, John. All right. And then Dan Parks gets in, says, you guys may not consider yourself the best in the business, but you followed faithfully because you're fine young men that are excited about Clemson, and we love you. Thank you for all you do. Woohoo!
I am the finest man, by the way, out of this group. So
Dan deserves a free T-shirt for that comment right there. Don't you think, guys?
Absolutely.
Wow. Patrick McCarter gets in. Super, super excited about this season. Bug concern of mine that nobody seems to talk about is the punter situation. Well, the punter situation, guys, you just do like Ole Miss, and you go to the next available frat house and get a punter. That's what Lane Kiffin did. They found one. I mean, there's somebody out there.
Just do like Chapman in 2008, maybe, or 2007. Just find a wide receiver that can punt. I did the job. Yeah. We made it all the way to Willie B. That's what we did, baby.
Bill gets in, says, Houston, your article on rubbingtherock.com, your article on moving in as a Clemson student was great. Brought back a lot of memories. Why don't you guys go get together and just talk about your memories? Just, get you a little.
Bill's got some good ones now.
Bill does have some good memories. I can talk to Bill for hours.
Yeah,
for sure about anything Clemson. Corey Martin says, terrible car though. LOL. Just saying, I'm a professional mechanic. All right, Cameron, you got to call Corey and duke it out on your car situation. And then Jimmy gets in, says, good evening. Well, hey, guess what? We just got in. Oh, fellas. Pizza, no cheese, $10 tip. Always enjoyed the show. Excited for the season. Go buy y'all some McFlurries.
I will buy myself McFlurry. Let's go. This dude
McFlurry. Morgan's got to learn to autocorrect the typos, as he goes
in my
instead
mouth.
Of reading it wrong.
Now listen to
this. You know what he meant.
Listen to this. Do you get the Oreo or do you get the M&M? Because I get the M&M, fellas.
Oreo, definitely.
Time out. Why don't, instead of McFlurries, we go to Cookout instead? Get one of those.
Get a peanut butter banana milkshake.
Everybody talks about McDonald's ice cream machine being out, but it's never out on Woodruff Road. Never. So I go there every time. But anyways, thank you so much, Pizza No Cheese. What a great name, by the way, Pizza No Cheese.
Yeah.
Well, we got through our introductions. So let's do some formalities here with the algorithm of YouTube and Facebook. If you haven't heard, there's an algorithm out there. The best way that you can help the show by not only watching the show is hitting the thumbs up button over on Facebook or YouTube. So that way that it shows, hey, this is X amount of viewers and X amount of thumbs up. If you have 10,000 viewers, but only like 2 thumbs up, they think a bunch of bots are watching you. So you got to hit the thumbs up so that they know you're really there and they know the fans want to see it, and then they'll recommend it to other fans just like you who should be Clemson fans, right? And the other thing that you can do if you want to go above and beyond is to actually share it with a friend. Now, I know it's a little bit harder. You might have to take yourself away from the show, but if you just send a text message or, whatever you want to do, just say, hey, check out this Clemson show every Thursday night, 7 to 8 p.m. We talk all things Clemson, specifically football, basketball, baseball, softball, track and field, soccer, whatever we want to talk about. Really, to be honest with you, we talk about all kinds of stuff. But let me tell you the rundown for tonight. I know everybody's ready to get into it. So let me tell you the rundown. We're going to be talking about the option routes. Kyle Richardson, passing game coordinator, has been talking a lot about option routes and how it's going to improve the Clemson offense. My question to you is, are you buying it? Is that really what's going to fix Clemson's offense? Is that really what is necessary? All right. And then the next topic is going to be why starting DJ is Clemson's best option. I know this is a very controversial option out there, but this is one that I think is true. We'll see what Al in Houston has to say about it. Another one out there is, whether you like it or not, Blake Miller is here to stay, and the opposing defenses aren't going to like it because the man is a beast, and he is the real deal. And at the offensive line, even though he's a true freshman, he is getting first-team reps at right tackle, and we need to talk about that. Dominique Thomas also earned a scholarship. By the way, anybody with the last name Thomas? Guys, anybody with the last name Thomas? Big deal. Big deal. Gets a scholarship, has a tragic thing going on with his family, has to change schools, decides he wants to go to Clemson, where he's always dreamed of, and has now walked on and earned a scholarship. And as I saw when I went to practice, he's going to be used, fellas. He's going to be lethal. Maybe a beast in the red zone. We'll talk about it. Ronan Hannafin, if we get to it, we have highlights on him, and then a recruiting update also as well, if we get to that as well. But thank you again, Pizza No Cheese, for the tip there for $10. We really appreciate it. So let's get into it, fellas. Topic number 1. Will option routes actually fix Clemson's offense in 2022? Now, Brandon Streeter is now the offensive coordinator because Tony Elliott has left. Kyle Richardson is now the passing game and tight end coordinator. It's got a lot of fans hyped up around these changes because they want to see some improvement over an offense that finished like 100th in the nation, 112th in completion percentage, and 103rd in passing yards, which is no bueno, as you know, if you want to win in this day and age of college football. But one of the things that they've been talking about is option routes. And for me, I'm not a football guy as far as like actually playing on the field. Other than playing on Madden, I kind of understand that the player, the wide receiver, has an option to do certain things. They assess it pre-snap, and they see where the player is lined up, where the defender is lined up in front of them, and they assess which way that defender may or may not go. They run a part of the route, and based on where that defender leans or cheats to or turns to, they can make a decision over where they want to go. Now, DJ Uiagalelei, by the way, 3 years in, we got to learn his name here. Uiagalelei. DJ says, he tries to explain it, and he says this to the media this week. So here's a quote from DJ. So against cover 2, zone defense with 2 high safeties, a receiver can break this way, and versus another coverage, he can break that way. If he sees another coverage, he can sit, just giving us, the offense, different options on each play to work versus multiple different coverages. Now, Richardson says, for us, I don't want to be locked into a route. There's times you have to lock into routes, and then there are other times where it is, hey, let's give you some options. But in order to do that, you have to play. You can't have 1,000 plays where they're thinking through options, and that's the best thing we've probably done. Is we're going to give them some options in some routes, but we've got to bring it in to this fewer passing concepts and not be out here with this. So basically simplifying the passing concepts, not having, a playbook of 1,000 plays to think through, but also keeping it very complex because it's adding in that wrinkle of more option routes. Streeter says, I think we're definitely doing it more than we have in the past. There's definitely some concepts where we want to be able to adjust the route based on what kind of defense we're getting. So, guys, now that we've heard from the coaching staff, that's the quotes from Kyle Richardson, from DJ Uiagalelei, and from Brandon Streeter. My thought is, okay, I'm going to think of it on maybe one side of it. I'm going to say on this side, I'm thinking, you know what? They need to be able to adjust and not just be stuck in a route that could be terrible for that defense, depending on, how the defense likes to scheme up things and trick you, right? Pre-coverage versus post, or pre-snap versus post-snap could be completely different. And so you need to be able to adjust, right? Mm-hmm. But on the other side of things, I'm thinking to myself, well, what happens when you're not on the same page? And it seems like this kind of situation could cause more situations where you're not on the same page. So that's my biggest concern is, we being Clemson, is Clemson opening themselves up to more situations where the wide receiver and the quarterback are not on the same page. Houston, since you're in the middle, big guy, we'll go with you first.
So I'm gonna bring up 3 offenses that have been historically good and point out this. And I want to preface this. Just because I'm mentioning them in the same sentence isn't me saying that Clemson's offense is going to be them in 2022, right? I'm just pointing this out. LSU 2019, Ohio State 2020 and 2021, and Baylor circa 2014. The similarities in those is they had simplified offenses, a minimal amount of routes, and route trees that they went through for choices on this. If you remember and recall, in the national championship game in 2019, what was the most lethal, like outside of them just going deep to Jamar Chase, LSU, meaning them, what is the most lethal play they ran? It was always across the middle. There was somebody dragging across, and no one was within 12 to 15 yards of them. They would pick up dozens of yards at a time. And that is a route choice that they make. That's based off of a linebacker's coverage of inside or outside leverage. I watched a guy on this a few months ago. It was back when everybody thought Joe Brady was coming to, back to college football. He's not. But part of what makes his offense unique is that concept of, okay, you got to match up with a linebacker on Jamar Chase. You're going to win that matchup. You can send him, sure, but you risk putting him in double coverage if they were playing cover 2. Whereas if you have outside leverage, you're going to drag him across the middle and no one's there. Or if he's playing inside, you're going to have him go to the edge. You might pick up 7, 8, 12 yards with that. It's a variety of different things. The reason I bring up Baylor, they're kind of the ones that helped start all this. Theirs is a variation, obviously a lot of tempo involved. But if you've ever heard of the concept called the deep choice, it's a route tree for deep routes that they were able to do. It's really hard to pull off, and it's kind of the reason why not a lot of people have been as successful running a Browse type offense post Baylor. A lot of the choices are made with deep routes. And then with Ohio State, it's similar to LSU. Simplified playbook. The key is it's not necessarily the greatest quarterback play. It's about the wide receivers selling the absolute crap out of their routes and going hard. Because if the linebacker is going here and then all of a sudden that person you're supposed to be covering is not there and you see a wide open gap, that's a problem to deal with. It's about selling those. And so I think, like I said, Clemson may or may not be that in the future. But I think you can at least open up possibilities of certain situations that you could open up the offense a little bit more by doing that.
Now, I like that comment because as you're talking, I'm thinking of, Al maybe has a better idea about this, but, when you're playing those flag football type games, when you're playing the 7-on-7s, when you have most of your skill positions there, if you open up a situation where the wide receiver has control of where they want to go, I can see scenarios where DJ has to do less, where all he has to do is look over in that direction and say, well, heck, that guy's wide open. Why not just throw it to him? Because the wide receiver really is making the choice versus DJ having to know where he's going. DJ really, Al, am I thinking of this right? Maybe the quarterback doesn't even have to know where they're going. It's just like, I just need to know to look over there to see if you chose right or not. Obviously pre-snap, you want the quarterback to be reading things. Every elite quarterback is doing that. So there might be some anticipation, which will help with your timing. If somebody gets open in a certain area and just sits there and your timing's off, well, he could be sitting there wide open forever. And then by the time you throw it, could be not open. So you definitely want to read it, right? But am I thinking of that right? That maybe this could actually help DJ?
Yeah, it certainly could. I think it's a tricky situation because, like you said, DJ is going to have to process things quicker without a doubt. But this gives the receiver, a chance to get open a lot easier. Last year, that's what everybody complained about. No separation, nobody's open. This should be able to get them open, but DJ is going to have to read pre-snap where his most likely scenarios are to go with the ball, because otherwise he's going to have to stare down all 4 receivers or 3 receivers or however many we have out there at the time, and try to find the open guy, and you might not have time to do that. So you really want to try to find a matchup, maybe 2 matchups at the beginning, pre-snap to kind of see what you're looking at. But it's all about how he's going to process it, and are he and the receiver on the same page, like you mentioned earlier. So it's it's going to be fun to watch. I think it certainly could be a huge help. But it's weird because you have the Notre Dame game, which we all like to point to, from 2 seasons ago when DJ was so good, and those guys were open, but Amari Rogers and Cornell Powell were getting open, but I think they were given like a predetermined route. Hey, you go here, so DJ doesn't have to come in here as this freshman quarterback, kind of deer in the headlights. They're going to be here. You throw it to them, and they were able to get open anyways, even though the route was probably predetermined. Okay, so this is a little bit different, where if you don't predetermine a route, now DJ's got to process that. Where's the holes going to be? Are they going to sit? Are they going to do what they need to be doing? So it's all about being on the same page. So it's going to be up to DJ. It's going to be up to the quarterback. And the receivers, of course, have to make the right moves as well. But I think it's up to DJ and how well he processes the information as to whether it's going to work or not and whether it's going to fix the Clemson offense. But I certainly like the simplicity of the offense and just letting the receiver make the play, because it's going to be fun to watch and see how they progress with it. But I think it could certainly be an answer.
I appreciate both of you guys' responses, and especially over on Facebook and YouTube in the chat. Make sure you get in and say hello and also give your opinion and even any questions that you may have. And don't forget to hit the like button to help out the algorithm as well. Continuing on that tail end of your topic there, Al, or your discussion, I want to segue into the second topic of the night, and that is why starting DJ is actually the best option, because this is the most controversial thing all offseason. We've talked about it, Al. We've wanted to move on from different topics. We've wanted to leave this one alone and do other things. But every single week, somebody asks about DJ. Every single week, somebody says, what's the quarterback situation? And we go right back into it. And every single time I post something about the quarterback situation, it blows up. So this is the hottest of hot topics for Clemson Tigers and the fan base. And if you read TigerNet, David Hood just came out with an article that quoted Dabo Swinney after the second scrimmage of preseason camp. And here's what he said. DJ is the starter for sure. This is where we are, Dabo Swinney said. Obviously, he has to go play well, just like anybody else. You have to go play well. We certainly hope to get Cade as many opportunities as we can. We wanted to get DJ in as often as we could during Trevor Lawrence's last year. DJ is going to graduate in December. He has big goals and aspirations. He knows what he has to do. He just has to go do it. Hopefully, we will be able to get Cade in as many opportunities as we can, but DJ is the starter, and he has earned that. It is up to him to continue to earn it every week. All right, so Al, he's came out and said, this is Dabo Swinney. He's earned the starting job. Why is that the best option for Clemson?
Well, I personally couldn't agree more. I think DJ being the number one guy is certainly the best option. If for nothing more, this is going to be kind of silly, but I mean, depth purposes. He gets passed over by a freshman, and he might say, "See you later," kind of thing. And so it's happened before. Obviously, we've seen that. So I'm telling you, though, there's been nothing that we have heard, or nothing that some people have seen at practices or whatever, that would say Cade should be the guy right now. Period. And I mean, they've both done decent. I think they've had good moments. I think both of them have thrown about the same amount of interceptions. And right now, he's the elder statesman. He knows the system better. I think it's pretty obvious he needs to be the guy that trots out there first. Now, if he didn't take his off season very seriously, if his weight was still a problem and that kind of thing, maybe you're talking about a more legitimate battle. But right now, with the way he's slimmed down and trimmed up, I think it's pretty obvious that he's the guy we should be going with, number one.
I think that it makes the best and most sense for Clemson. He's lost weight. He's gone and practiced in the offseason. He's down to 235. I'll give you some insight. I went and saw a friend invited me to the IPTAY rep event where I got to see the very first scrimmage, okay? He is faster. Now, DJ is not as fast as Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik, guys, Cade Klubnik can literally hike the ball, and he's doggone near out of bounds by the time he rolls out. I mean, Trenton Simpson, Barrett Carter, they have a difficult time keeping up with him. He is that fast. I mean, it's so fast that it's almost like there were a couple of rollouts where the play wasn't even really developed and he was almost running out of bounds. So there's some negativity to that too, because it's like, whoa, fella, like maybe glide out of bounds, maybe glide over there. Don't just sprint over there, but he is so fast, which makes him super lethal in the QB read. When he got out there, it was him and Phil Maffa, and he would put the ball out in front of him. Phil would either take it or he would pull it back. And even elite defense like Clemson's struggled to figure out what they were going to do because they had to honor Cade Klubnik a ton. But the interesting thing that I saw that a lot of people don't even believe me when I tell them I saw it with my own eyes. They say, Morgan, I don't know, man. I'll believe it when I see it. All this stuff is hype. You're just a radio guy. You're just a talking head. You don't know. I saw it with my own eyes. DJ doing the same thing. Is he bigger, stronger, maybe heftier than Cade? Of course. He's probably not as fast as Cade. We know that, of course. But there's a lot more to quarterback than just being fast. And I'm telling you guys, he was able to do those kind of read, RPO, quarterback read type things as good or equal to Cade. And he was able to take off a couple of QB runs. Now, I know it's purple jersey, so I get that. But he looks lean. He looks quicker on his feet. And the most important thing, Al, Houston, what have we talked about all doggone offseason? Confidence.
Yeah.
He does look like he has confidence out there with his body, trusting himself. I'm not trying to just blow smoke here. I'm telling you, I saw it. So, Houston, there's more conversation that Dabo Swinney had. He said, DJ, I think, played pretty clean procedurally. He was very clean in his decision-making, which is, that's a big deal. Everybody talks about decision-making, right? He had one play that he would like to have back, but procedurally, all of that, he made a couple of good plays with his legs. The biggest thing has been his creativity. He has made a lot of plays with his legs in camp. I have told him 3 or 5 times, you would not have made that play last year. He is moving much better. He has lots of confidence. That is the number one thing. He really has done a good job there. Houston, I don't think this is smoke from Dabo Swinney. I don't think this is coach speak. What are your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, kind of like what you said, are like, well, we've seen this once before. Kelly Bryant couldn't do it, and Trevor Lawrence was there. This is a different situation. And I believe that, look, I think Cade's going to be amazing when he gets back in 23 and 24. Ain't no doubt about it. But I have a tendency to believe when Dabo gets latched onto something and says, this guy's going to be good, I'm telling you right now, this guy's going to be good. He's generally right. I mean, there's been a handful of people, but I mean, even look at everybody's been like, oh, and got it. He hasn't been injured this year. He's making plays. I mean, he got held out of the practice that one day. I get it. Wrap him in bubble wrap. Do what you got to do to get him the season. But he said the same thing about Cornell Powell, Kevin Dodd, Hunter Renfrow. He's got an eye for this. And he's been saying DJ's he's gonna do it, guys. I'm just telling you. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it is. Maybe by week 4, Cade comes in and takes over. But at the same time, look, if DJ makes the strides that he needs to, and honest to goodness, he doesn't have to do that much more to get this team to be undefeated. You think about last year, Clemson was 5 plays away from being 12-0. I mean, people want to make a big deal about, well, they could have been 5 or 7. If you're going to play that game, they were 5 plays away from being 12-0. Mm-hmm. And I've always made this assumption that DJ doesn't have to have the most amazing year ever. He doesn't have to be a Heisman winner. If he just throws double production-wise, TD-wise, and cut his interceptions in half, 12-0. And that's only 18-5. That's not knocking the world down. 18-5. I don't think he can do that.
I think that DJ also with the schedule has a good scenario set up for him, because when you look at it, The first 4 games now, especially with Hartman out, I don't see any issue there. I don't see any issue with NC State. I mean, to be honest with you, I will be shocked if they can come to Clemson and win a revenge game at home with the nation's largest winning streak on the line, a home winning streak. I don't see it happening. They've lost their left tackle. They've lost their number 1 wide receiver. They've lost both their running backs, and nobody seems to even act like that's a big deal. And guess what? It's a big deal. So while they may have one of the best defenses in the ACC, it's a big deal. So that's my thought. I think that Clemson obviously has a chance to do well, and DJ can go into this season, again, not having to worry so much about that marquee game day experience, very first game of the season. I mean, anybody. That would be a stressful game. That was a stressful game for us. that would be a stressful game for anybody. And like Houston said, basically lost the game on a pick 6 where the wide receiver, we don't really know what really happened, but from what we think happened, Justin Ross didn't run the route right. So, it wasn't all DJ's fault in that game. Yeah. And then just confidence. As Richardson has said many times, confidence is key, because if you lose it, then it's like it takes forever to get it back. Maybe it takes a whole entire offseason to get it back. So a lot there to be said about him having confidence. And again, I saw it with my own eyes. He definitely looks a ton better. That's for sure. All right. So Big Al, we talked about the wide receivers and their routes. We've talked about DJ, the guy throwing the ball to the guys running the routes, right? But one thing we haven't talked about is the blocking, and that is the offensive line. So now I came out and I did a Morgan rating. All right. My Morgan ratings, I tried to make them like the Madden ratings, if you will. Houston, I don't know. You're kind of, people are saying you're freezing up a lot. I haven't been looking at you. But
I mean, everything's going out.
Everything look good? All right.
Yeah, he's okay right now. Or he says he was okay right now in the chat.
All right. So Bill says you've thawed out.
I'm watching this. I have the Clemson women's soccer game up here, so maybe if I'm calling like
focus down here. Focus down here. Focus down here. Focus. Yeah. Eyes here. So again, we're talking about the offensive line now. We're moving away from DJ. We're moving away from the wide receivers. We're talking about the offensive line. And when I go back to my Madden ratings, one of the things I did is I posted based on what I saw at the first scrimmage. And what I saw at the first scrimmage was Blake Miller starting at right tackle. And so it was Jordan McFadden, Marcus Tate, which, by the way, Al, I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Those guys ragging on you last show about Marcus Tate's not a left tackle. Paul Strelo this morning said he's a left tackle. And by the way, he played left tackle in the scrimmage. So There you go. All right. Yeah. So Big Al, you were on it. So no doubt he definitely can play it. He definitely has played it, and he's getting reps there. Talking about cross-training.
Will he start there is a different story, but he can play it. And I think he can certainly do that in the future.
There might be still more development for Tristan Lee, and so maybe he can fill in, if he needs to in sub situations. Who knows?
Sure.
But if everything goes like last year, McFadden will play every single doggone snap. So you've got McFadden, you got Marcus Tate. Obviously, we have Will Putnam at center because they need a veteran presence there. And from what we understand, he hasn't had any issues snapping the ball, maybe just a couple this preseason. And then you have right guard, which was the big question mark. Who could play that? There's multiple guys that could play it, but they're all kind of coming back from injury. Who's the one guy or the 2 guys or 3 guys that haven't been injured or struggling to show what they can do? Well, it's basically the true freshmen, Colin Sadler and Blake Miller, that Alan and Houston and I all love. Or it's Walker Parks. And Walker Parks said, hey, you know what? I can just put me anywhere. Put me in the game, coach. Put me anywhere. Right guard, left tackle, left tackle, whatever. Put me in there. I will do it. And so Walker Parks has said, move me over. Now, last year they put the greenest offensive lineman in the middles, in the guard position. And can you say that really worked out very well? Not really. Yeah. So what they kind of have decided to do, it looks like, is sandwich everybody together. Lump them all together. left guard, left tackle, center, right guard are all guys who have a ton of snaps. And now right tackle is going to be Blake Miller, we assume. And yes, he has no snaps, but it's just that right corner. And what we're hearing is he is legit and he is holding his own and he is the real deal. So, Houston, I'll start with you here because not only do I think he's the real deal, but ESPN published its 2022 preseason true freshman All-America team. Cade Klubnik was on it. Offensive lineman Blake Miller. Here's what ESPN said. The Tigers need help along the offensive line. Despite Walker Parks already having a role at right tackle, Miller has a chance to play early. That could entail Parks moving to guard, which we talked about. If that happens, it's a good problem for Clemson, given it means that Miller is going to be in a starting role. Houston, we'll start with you. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I see why people are a little apprehensive of the whole freshman nature, but I mean, they started Mitch Hyatt and it worked out pretty good. And I mean, from all accounts, Blake Miller is a lot bigger, leaner, meaner, whatever kind of adjective you want to add to him than Mitch Hyatt. Mitch Hyatt, I mean, I'll make the case that Mitch Hyatt was the best left tackle in Clemson history, no doubt. And Blake Miller, hey, look, if he's that good, get the boy on the field. And I mean, that's the same can go for Colin Sadler as well. I know he's got a little bit more to work up to, but it sounds like he's making strides as well. So if he's in the rotation, anybody, if it's going with the best five, go with the best five. And if that means playing one freshman or two freshmen, who cares? Blake Miller, if he's the most qualified guy, get him on the field and tell your boy Bob Sadler he ain't got to wait too much longer to see his baby boy play a little bit more.
Bob Sadler's baby boy. We love that. Bob Sadler's baby boy. We love Bob. Blake Miller, number 78, Big Al. 6'6", 315 pounds from Strongville, Ohio. By the way, Nick Eason had a funny story about how when he was an intern, he interned with Blake Miller's dad when Blake was a baby. So, you know, small world. Now Blake Miller is an offensive tackle for Clemson. And Nick Eason is a coach for Clemson. According to ClemsonTigers.com, a physically imposing blocker who continues the pipeline of talent from Ohio, followed the lineage of Jackson Carman and Matt Bockhorst, another highly touted O-lineman, starting at left tackle in high school, did not allow a sack as a junior or senior in a total of 352 pass attempts, a 3-year starter at Strongville, first team All-Ohio Division I, first team All-Region, first team All-District selection in 2020 and 2021, 4-time Greater Cleveland Conference All-Academic selection, 4-year starter on the offensive line at left tackle. Now, we know that in high school, typically the biggest, baddest, best offensive linemen, they play left tackle. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, in this situation, that doesn't always happen. So now he's going to be playing right tackle. Do you think that he can carry over his success from high school into right tackle?
No doubt. Yeah. I think this is what's funny is, you know, we hear about all these things and we're having to go off what we hear. Most of us don't get to see this. So we're reading notes and reading updates and all that kind of stuff. And Dabo could come out with an entirely different starting five for all we know against Georgia Tech. We really don't know. But we are going to go on the assumption that Blake Miller is every bit the guy we're hearing about, and he's going to be the starter at right tackle. And I swear, this happened to me the past couple of seasons. I've gotten sucked in. Everybody has said, the offensive line is going to be better this year, and it hasn't happened. I've been sucked in, and I promised myself it's not going to happen this year. I'm waiting until I see it on the field, and yet here I am. And we talk about how awesome Blake Miller is and the fact that we got Walker Parks moving inside, and, you know, potentially there could be a move on the other side. You know, Will Putnam is now handling center, and he's doing amazing with his snaps and everything, and it's just like, here I am. We're going to be good on the offensive line finally. I can't believe it, and I'm hoping we can really make something happen because we've been waiting to be good for quite some time now. And I think that's, you know, had a lot of effect on the game and DJ last year, just like the receivers and, you know, whatever, shortcomings he had as well. So it's good to have it, you know, this kind of hype around the offensive line. It's good to get them some confidence going. They need to gel together and make something happen because a lot of this season depends on how well they do.
A lot of people are talking about the fact that you can't ignore the offensive line. Is the offensive line what starts everything? Do you feel like, Al, when you look back at last season, is the first thing that needs to be fixed the offensive line, the wide receivers, the quarterback? What do you think?
Dude, that is a debate. I remember having this debate last year, and I don't know that we ever came to a consensus on what this was. It was just, it was an unbelievably bad season all the way around. The quarterback had issues. Wide receivers, I thought at first the wide receivers should bear the most blame, and mainly, I mean, we were down like what 3-4 receivers, and I mean, so that's bad luck, and that's not necessarily their fault, but.
You
They
start
just
playing guys that are 5'10" and look like
yeah,
me. That's bad for
yeah, it was
anybody.
not a good situation to start off with, and I don't think they were very tough at the beginning of the year. I don't think they fought for the ball. I don't think they were running routes well. They were not getting open, and whether that's them or whether that's the scheme, I don't really know. But I thought the receivers played a huge part in why things were not going well. But, man, the offensive line had their share as well, and so did DJ, of course. But, man, I really couldn't point to it. I know we went around the horn last year about all this and tried to decide who was more at fault. And honestly, my opinion probably changed every week with each game.
Houston, you're back. Thank you for getting in. I guess there was, just loading or whatever. But you look a lot better now. Look even more clear than before. So that's the big point. Mel Graves over on YouTube says, if Blake Miller does start, he will be the second true freshman to start on the offensive line. The only other was Mitch Hyatt. So interesting note there. Clemson Carson gets in, says, I think Thomas Austin is a big upgrade at offensive line coach. Houston, you're kind of nodding there. What do you think?
Well, I want to point this out because I don't think a lot of people realize this. Georgia State never had a winning record in football until Thomas Austin was an offensive line coach. And his first 2 years, they went to bowls. No, they went again,
That's the kind of stats that I like to get from Houston. That's why he's part of the show, because he has those odd stats that I would never think to look up, but they're really good and really prove your point, Houston. I agree with Houston.
And I just want to point this out too. Week 1, because all these players that Thomas Austin recruited are still at Georgia State. You know who they play week 1 this year? South Carolina. Right. So you have a team that struggled to stop the run last year going against the number 8 ranked rushing offense from 2021 at Georgia State. Just saying that. Keep that in mind, bettors. The line's -12.
Typhoon says Milla the Killer. Typhoon also gets in, says, it's okay, Big Al. I've been waiting for the offensive line to be better for years. I'm always the optimist.
Yes.
I think it's good to be the optimist. He also says, got a lot of good comments here. Sounds like Stadler is coming on lately too. Mm-hmm. Carson says, we got some studs on the offensive line this year. I think it's improved. I think it's improved. But as Al said, be careful what you say, because, the preseason hype, as I just got done hyping up DJ for 15 minutes, the offensive line, we can do the same, but we want to see it on the field. Obviously, those guys want to see it on the field too. They want to perform on the field as well.
Absolutely.
Talking about a guy who has really shown out and been able to win, his spot on the roster. That's a guy, last name Thomas. I told you, Thomas's, there's just something about us. And he is now earned a scholarship at Clemson, which I already kind of told you that I felt like that was going to happen. So that was pending. But I saw some film on him on Twitter, and I was like, wow, this guy's legit. He's going to put in the work for sure, too. Now, here's the deal. I think he's a sophomore, and he did transfer in, and he's walked on now. I went and watched him. Now, he's wearing number 20, and I'm not talking about Kobe Pace here. Kobe Pace is now wearing number 7. So when you go to the game and you see number 20, you know this is Dominique Thomas. And we are related, depending on how good he is. If he's awesome, we're related. But Dominique Thomas is no longer paying his own tuition. He is now on scholarship, and Dabo Swinney said he made it easy. It's hard to find a better back than that kid. He's a really good player. Y'all will see. He's low to the ground. He's hard to find. He's different. He's not going to run or break a 70-yarder on you, but he's going to bloody your nose. You need all types of things, and he brings something to the room that's just a little unique. He's big, thick, and strong, but he's got a really good vision, really good hips, really good change of direction, and some explosive power. Now, Thomas walked on the team in January. This is from Clemson Insider, some notes there. Union College, an NAIA school in Kentucky, 5'8", 195 pounds, has 6 rushing touchdowns and accounted for more than 800 yards of offense, 527 yards rushing last year. Dabo Swinney goes on to say he just has a great feel for the game. He finds the soft spot and then he dents it. He's got a good addition. He's a good addition for us and an awesome kid. He certainly deserves it. Now, here's the thing for me. Now, when I saw him out at practice, he was lethal at the red zone. I mean, he is a red zone beast going up against. Now, check this out, guys. Here's some insider for you. On the red zone, the defense often went with all 3 middle linebackers. So you had McGuire, Bentley, and Trotter out there. And Trotter is a thumper. And let me tell you something. Dominique Thomas was thumping him right back, man. I mean, they were going right at it. Shoulder pads, man. Now, sometimes Trotter would win. Sometimes Dominique Thomas would win. It was a good battle. But it was exciting to see. Coupled with the fact that DJ's also got some more lethality to him with his running game. And Cade Klubnik is obviously the fastest guy I've ever seen roll out in college football. Dominique Thomas could add that unique changeup of pace there and be a big bruising type guy. I'm thinking with his size being 5'8", I'm thinking kind of an MJD, Jones-Drew type situation where he's just knocking guys out. Now MJD could run a 70-yard on you too. And I think Dominique Thomas, you give him some open space, he's going to take it. But I like what I see about Clemson. A lot of people worried so much about the running back room. Oh, man, what if one guy gets injured? Well, now looking at it, fellas, you've got Pace, you've got Shipley, Maffa, and now you have Thomas on scholarship. And you also have Keith Adams Jr., who looked good to me too. Everybody likes to give, cuts. Everybody likes to pick on the guy who has that last name, but give him a shot.
I like his last name.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I guess that makes sense, Al. Yeah. Allen Adams. Yeah. Okay. I think that this is a great situation. And it also goes back to the fact that that's why there's not so much panic on the recruiting trail for running back, because of the 5 guys. They have 5, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5. All right. Big Al, what's your thoughts on Dominique Thomas? Did you anticipate this? Did you think this was going to happen?
No. As a matter of fact, I heard y'all talking about him. It wasn't this morning show. It was before that. I'd heard you mention him somewhere. I'm like, I don't even know who this kid is. Don't even know who Dominic Thomas is. Not sure who this is. And hear the talks. Have read the article, seen the forum posts, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm all for this kind of kid. When you hear a story like this, as tragic as his was, and to be able to come to Clemson, and obviously you hope that props him up. He's able to fulfill his dreams and really do something on the field. I love these guys getting on the field, and I hope Clemson is up big enough in a lot of these games for him to really see some action and get to see him play a lot at Death Valley. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Houston, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, this is an incoming College Game Day Tom Rinaldi piece, or I guess he's not with ESPN anymore. Wojciechowski. That's a Wojciechowski one. So that's incoming. Just prepare your hearts for it. But as far as this goes, hey, this speaks to Clemson's culture. Everyone wants to freak out, question everything. And I always kind of go back on this staff, this head coach. He knows his program better than anybody on any message board knows. And he knew that this kid had potential. He liked what he saw. And look, Dominique Thomas isn't going to be the guy that's, we don't think is going to be getting 20, 30 carries a game. But, hey, if he can get a yard, if he's that much of a problem, if he's 5'8" and he's a thumper, 3rd and 1, hit him, get that 1 yard. I mean, you don't even have to do that. That's a backbreaker, man. If it's a 17-point game against Florida State and they're just trying to get the ball back, you have a guy that you know without a doubt on 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1 or even 3rd and 3 is going to get the first down. That's all you can ask for. And Morgan just left us.
We're back. Something
there we
happened.
go.
We flashed. We flashed out. But yeah, I agree with you, Houston. I think that, Dominique Thomas is going to add a new wrinkle to the offensive playbook and be able to have some success. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. Hopefully we're still online. It does seem like we're still online. But I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. You're going to be seeing these guys. You might see a heavy rotation here. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, it's just going to be this guy or just going to be that guy is going to take it out. Maybe Will Shipley does do that. I did want to mention this as I take away from Dominique Thomas here. I'm kind of surprised by the Will Shipley hate. I know that we did a video on Will Shipley and is he like Christian McCaffrey? And a lot of people said, oh, Morgan, this, apples to oranges. And I get it. But, this morning on Mickey Plyler's show, I was shocked because I was talking about my Morgan ratings. And I was talking about how Will Shipley was 86 overall, number 1 for Clemson on the offensive side, highest rated guy on offense. And fellas, I got a lot of pushback in the text messages and on chat and in my Twitter feed about I was crazy about how he's not even the best running back on the team, much less the best player on offense.
Yeah.
I don't understand where this is coming from. Now, let me pull up my screen here and share with you. I'll share with you the Thomas ratings here. Let me see if I can make it big screen for you and blow it up. Hopefully, maybe you can see that. Hopefully. But this is let me see if I can make it bigger. I don't know. There we go. So this is the Thomas ratings, right? And this is my Madden attempt at making a rating system for Clemson. Okay. So I'm looking at this and I put, as you can see, Will Shipley, 86 overall, Jordan McFadden, 83 overall. For Kobe Pace, I did 71 and Phil Maffa 73, but most of that is because of how the rating system is. That's not really what I think, but that's just the rating system in general. But when I put Will Shipley as 86, a lot of fans said, no way. Kobe Pace, number 1, best overall, best running back in the room. On the flip side, some people came out and said, oh man, Phil Maffa, if he just got a chance, he would be the best. So Al, do you think I was right? Or maybe I'm missing something? Maybe actually Will Shipley is not the best running back in the room.
No, I definitely agree with your rating here. I think Shipley is that guy. I think maybe they're thinking about the few times he dropped the pass out of the backfield. That I'm telling you, he's going to have that corrected. I certainly hope this year. And I think that's going to add another dimension. But he's got another gear than Kobe Pace does. And Kobe Pace is a great back. Now, I will tell you this: I do have a major issue with the disparity between Will Shipley and Kobe Pace. I would have Pace second, and honestly, I would have him rated somewhere around an 80 to an 82, something like that. Honestly, it's really difficult for me to know the stats that Uiagalelei had last year, or Ngata, who barely played, and how they're rated so much higher than Kobe Pace, who played well last year. So I'm not exactly sure how your ratings work, but that seems very off to me.
So I'll tell you how the ratings work. And I try to zoom in here. I'll give you another photo here. Zoom in for you.
I can see it.
So the ratings start with the 24/7 Sports Composite rating. Okay. And then I give them a nerf. I subtract 21 points from their 24/7 Sports. So you see Cade Klubnik was a 99 overall. Minus 21 means he's a 78. He then, the players then, I give them points in sequence based on I don't know what you call it, multipliers, maybe not sequence, but I give them points based off of how many snaps they've played and what kind of accolades they get at the end of the season. So you have to be somebody that gets on, say, the All ACC team, the All Conference teams, the All Americans, the people that get awarded at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get points for that as well. So you get points for playing time and snaps,
Okay.
but you also get points for how well you did in your conference and how well you did it nationally.
Okay.
And so someone like Will Shipley obviously got, national recognition at the end of the year.
Sure.
And he also had a ton of snaps. So that's
Yeah.
why he jumped up from his rating. Plus, also, he was, like a high 4-star, 5-star guy.
Yeah.
So he already started out, with some help there.
Sure.
That's how I did the system. So
Okay.
I will say some guys who maybe were hurt by 24/7 Sports Composite, it's a bigger hill to climb for them on my rating system.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't know how you did your rating system at all, really. So the Will Shipley, I think, is appropriately ranked, no doubt. But in Phil Maffa, by the way, I don't want to throw him under the bus because this dude's unbelievably talented, and I don't think he's far behind either of them. He's just a different back. But I think Kobe Pace should, like I said, be in the 80 to 82 range. And what I think you need to do, and where I think you messed up, is you're not using the eye test at all. And I think that's a huge part. I don't care what they were coming out of high school. I care what they looked like on the field last year when they were in, whether they were in for 50 snaps or whether they were in for 10. And Pace looked like a dang good back, and I think you gotta factor that in.
That was hard for me too, because say for example, Will Taylor, he is hurt with my rating system. He's a 63,
right?
But he's hurt because he started out so low because of his low recruiting rating.
Right.
84 minus 21, 63, and he really didn't play but 15 snaps. So my rating can't give him any more points.
And that's fair for Will Taylor because he didn't play enough for us to know. And I mean, I
got a lot of flack for Will Taylor because they said, "Man, if you just see the guy, he's awesome."
They think he's going to be awesome, and I agree with them. Is the thing, but we haven't seen it on the field. I mean, honestly, he played like 4 snaps and he got injured.
So how could I factor in the eye test?
You really can't with him. But people that have played, you can. So if they're freshmen, never taken a snap on the field before, maybe you don't factor that in. But it's very difficult for me to see a 15-point disparity between Shipley and Pace when most people seem to think they're relatively even backs, maybe 1A, 1B.
So Bruce gets in and says, "Why use high school ratings when they don't matter?" Well, I have to have a starting point.
Sure.
I have to have some sort of nationally recognized starting point, and I went with the 24/7 Sports Composite that's supposed to take multiple recruiting outlets and bring them together and start it. Now, what Madden does, for example, Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall draft pick, his first rating overall 78 on Madden as a rookie. So they give you a 27-point nerf for changing levels of skill level from college to NFL. And I did the same thing here, but I understand there's flaws. There's always going to be flaws.
Of course.
But I will say as Clemson fans, to me, when I try to look at this objectively, it doesn't not make sense. Yeah, there may be 1 or 2 players that don't make sense that maybe like, man, I wish they had more rating. Mm-hmm. But this is a rating system that I'm hoping I'm going to try it with South Carolina and Alabama and Georgia. I'm hoping that it will work across other teams as well. And so a lot of people say, "Oh man, the wide receivers, they look low rated to me." Well, I'm just curious because I can't wait till I open up South Carolina or NC State or somebody else that Clemson or Georgia Tech, for example. I can't wait till I pull them out and try to do ratings for them. You're going to see, I think it'll be easier when you see it compared to another team. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because when you just look at just this team, it's like, ooh, they're low rated. But really, I tried to make it universal.
Right.
Now, Houston, when you look at the offensive ratings here, I know you warned me. You were like, be careful, tread lightly. And Mickey Plyler also said back in the day when he was writing for TigerNet, he did a 1 to 85 ranking on who was most valuable to the team.
Oh, man.
And he said he'll never do that again. Because everybody's mom hated and grandma hated him for 2 years, would call him and be mad at him and yell at him for doing it. Now, I'm not rating these guys against each other. All I'm doing is putting points to specific values based on playing time, recruiting ratings, and postseason awards and what they did on a national stage. So Houston, anything out there, like when you look at this, you see anything sticking out to you, or do you feel like it looks pretty good?
I mean, look, I played NCAA football 14 over Madden any day of the week. And look, as a kid, I would just boost these ratings up anyway to 99 overall.
Yeah.
So
99 everybody.
And 99 everybody. They would all be 6'7", 315, and run 4.4s. That's even my lineman. That's what I was doing. And so, yeah, I mean, look, these are going to change. They're going to have to. And Morgan, I love you to death, man, but I'm not putting much stock in any of these ratings simply because.
Whoa.
Hey, look, man.
Houston.
Look.
How, what? The Morgan ratings? You're not going to put stock in the Morgan ratings?
Well, I mean, look, man, we all know Will Taylor is higher than a 63. That's whatever. He's higher than a 63. Jake Brenningstool's higher than a 76. We can look at this. Maffa and Pace are higher than
they really didn't use Jake Brenningstool to be honest. I gave him points, but they really didn't use him like they should have.
Right, but
literally, if you want points on my system, play more snaps.
and you know what? It is your system, your graphics. You're entitled to that.
Let's move over to defense. I want Houston to look at the defense. Now look at the overall rating here. Offense, I had an 85 overall. Okay. So even with my ratings that you guys like to make fun of, the Morgan ratings, which are the most accurate ratings in college football ever created. 85. Now defense, a 95 overall. Yep. All right.
I feel like these are accurate. I think there's not as many on here. I mean, granted, it's because Clemson has a very highly rated defense, right? So we can make that call. There are a couple, like I feel like Barrett Carter, he should be in that silver medalist range. I get it, the snap thing, but he's a freak. He's kind of like Trenton Simpson, except just on the other side of the ball. I look at the others; they make sense. The defensive line makes complete sense. To me, as far as how highly rated they are. I think there might be some controversy over XT.
Absolutely.
I agree. Look, I know that some people are gonna hate on that, but I mean, when he's on, even you even think about the NC State game that Clemson lost. That game could have been a lot worse if XT was not up on his game that day. He forced, I want to say, 2 turnovers, or helped force 2 turnovers. So I agree with the 99. Now, once again, I don't put much stock in it.
The thing about Xavier Thomas, all right, unanimous freshman All-American.
Sure.
That on my system gives you a lot of points there. 2021, third team All-ACC. That gives you points as well. 1,333 snaps over 46 games. So he benefits from playing, not only being a freshman All-American, but 2-time third team All-ACC.
Mm-hmm.
And he's played 1,300 freaking snaps. How can he not be a 99 overall?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't factor in injury, but
it affects your snaps. So you kind of do factor. I say that you say you do anyways. If you're going by snaps, here's my thing. First of all, I need to tell you, Morgan, this is a great graphic. It's really awesome. But what I think you should be doing is
probably too much time.
Yeah, I think you should be doing something like this for the freshmen you've never seen play. Go ahead, use the 24/7 stuff from high school. Their accolades coming in. That's all fine and good. But for the people that you have seen play, I think you need to take that away and use the eye test. And I think that's going to give you more accurate ratings.
How do I do that, though, and make it consistent over multiple teams, especially the ones I haven't seen?
Well,
that would be hard.
That's not your problem. Who cares about other teams? It's
Who
about
cares
the team that you watch. So
right.
if you want to keep this raggedy system that you have going on for your other teams, fine. But for Clemson, make it accurate. Because
this is accurate. Everybody picks on me. The one on defense, everybody picks on me about Rook Aurora, 73.
Fair criticism.
They say, "Oh man, this guy's way better than 73."
Yeah, I would agree. He needs to be higher.
Now, but the thing is, he's kind of a Will Shipley situation, or a Will Taylor situation. Not so much being injured, but for the first, he's really more of a Kobe Pace situation. First 2
Well,
years.
you got him wrong too.
Yeah.
Okay, Al. Let's not go backwards. Okay, let's move forward.
I'm trying to help you out, brother. I really am.
Bill also gets in and says XT gets the Thomas boost.
Yeah,
so that is
go.
true. But Rook gets hurt like Kobe Pace because he really wasn't the highest rated guy coming out of 24/7 Sports. So that's where Mickey, and I think you guys agree, there needs to be some sort of adjustment for when 24/7 Sports is wrong. Like, they're obviously wrong on Will Taylor, we think. I mean, we haven't seen enough snaps to really know. We assume they're wrong on Will Taylor. We assume they're wrong on Rook. We assume they're wrong on Kobe Pace. We assume they're wrong maybe on Nate Wiggins because of the hype we're hearing. So there are certain situations like Levanta Bentley. We assume they're wrong on him too. He was a lower 4-star guy. So, these guys that are going to be coming into their own, and I say that too, we are anticipating the upcoming season. Going into I don't do negative points. So this is their floor, okay, going into this season. So they could just destroy it and be awesome going forward. But one thing I do think that this helps with, for me at least, is to visually see how awesome the defensive line is. I mean, look at how stacked the defensive line is. Yeah. Look at how solid that you have Trenton Simpson, Barrett Carter, and Andrew Makuba, right? But on the flip side, take your orange-covered glasses off. Jalen Phillips, this is going to be his first time probably starting. This is going to be Nate Wiggins' first time starting. Now, I know they're getting hyped. This is going to be Sheridan Jones' first time getting a lot of snaps. I know they're getting hyped up, but these guys are fresh.
Yeah.
They're unproven. So if anything, it kind of gives you a little bit of a glance idea about what's going on with the skill level, or at least the experience. Let me say, not say skill level, experience level of your defense.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, it's a cool deal. And what I think you should do is save this and do a midseason and a postseason. And then you can see how wrong you were about some of these.
Yeah. Okay. The second that South Carolina has a higher rating on offense or defense, that's when you need to just crumple this all up and toss it in the garbage.
Now, Houston makes a good point, Al. That's why I want to do South Carolina, because I want to see, it's probably not going to be that good. I mean, they already make fun of their own recruiting.
Right.
So if my baseline is their recruiting, then it's going to be really low.
No, I don't know, man. Like I frequent said sites, and right now, hope reigns eternal right now. They're going to win a championship in the next 5 years. That's the feeling.
An ACC championship? Another ACC?
No, a Sun Belt.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wherever they get moved to because they're not bringing in enough revenue? Is that what you're saying?
Something like that, I guess.
All right, fellas. Fellas, I appreciate you getting in. Man, it's been such a great night. Another great show, fellas. Another golf clap here. Great show. Really enjoy it. Guys, thank you so much for bringing in and being a part of the show and helping me not have to talk to myself. I really appreciate that. Again, if you missed out over the beginning of the show, I'm gonna not be lazy. I'm gonna do some video editing and post up some highlights. I didn't post any last week because I've been lazy. I'm sorry. So I will be posting up some highlights, I promise, because it's important that I do it now, because next week is going to be the Roar's kickoff show at Twin Peaks, 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Listen to it on the radio. Go to the Twin Peaks on Woodruff Road and go check us out. See us there. Hopefully I can get all the guys there to hang out. We'll have all kinds of fun events. You can win T-shirts. You can do trivia, all kinds of fun things going on while you're there. Plus, you can watch the show and listen to the show while you're there. And then the following Thursday is, I don't know if I'm going to do a live show or not, because it'll be our very first back from vacation, back from the off season radio show on 105.5, 97.5 The Roar. So if you're in the upstate, or if you have the app, you'll be able to listen to us on the radio live. Again, 105.5 The Roar. September 1st is our next radio show, live radio show. Now, normally I try to do a radio/YouTube stream. It doesn't always go as planned, as you guys know. If you've been here for some time, you guys know It doesn't always go as planned, but hopefully, we can get into it and we'll be a part of, having both YouTube and the Roar on at the same time. So again, I'm excited. You know what this means when it gets to this point, Big Al, Houston, it's literally football season now.
Baby.
And we're also, again, if you want to get in this year on the workhorse of the week, we're going to do that again coming up this year, picking the best running back that we think the most successful running back of the week, depending on, of all college football. So it's anybody you can pick. It's just like fantasy football, but we pick just one player and we run with him and go throughout the week. So I would appreciate you guys getting in and being part of that too. Thank you so much, everybody on Facebook, on YouTube. If you don't mind, before you leave, before you get in the car and go home, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe or follow. And don't forget to follow Houston at Radio Guy Houston. And don't forget to follow me at The Morgan T Show. And as always, Tiger fans, we'll see you at the top of the hill. Tiger fans, Greenville is a wonderful place to call home. And take it from me, a great place to grow your family. The housing market can be an extremely competitive and intimidating place if you don't have the right agent. That's why we recommend our friend and local agent Lana Smith with Live Upstate SC Real Estate. She is a native of Greenville and has been serving the needs of families in the upstate for over 20 years. You need an agent proficient in navigating the world of multiple offers who will put your needs first and guide you through the process. Let Lana help you achieve your real estate goals. Call her today at 864-608-8313. Again, that's 864-608-8313. And let's get moving. If you're looking for a great atmosphere and good food, you have to check out the Charleston Sports Pub. They're the premier sports bar location in South Carolina with locations in Clemson, Greenville, Goose Creek, James Island, Mount Pleasant, Summerville, and West Ashley. Watch all the games while you have fun playing all their games. Tiger fans, we dine there, legends dine there like Taj Boyd, and so should you. Go eat at the Charleston Sports Pub in Clemson every game day. 359 College Avenue, Clemson. Family owned and operated, serving Anderson County and surrounding areas since 1980. Heating and Cooling Services, Inc. is your residential and commercial comfort expert. Anything from preventative maintenance of your home HVAC system to overhauling a commercial chiller and everything in between. If you want to breathe easier and be nice and cool in your home or business this summer or warm this winter, give Heating and Cooling Services, Inc. a call today. Give Mark or Jason Trammell a call at 864-224-7655. Again, 864-224-7655, and they'll take good care of you. Tiger fans, we don't just dress for success, we TS for success. That's Tiger Sports Shop. We shop there so much that they practically begged us to be sponsors for them. Not serious, but we do love shopping at Tiger Sports Shop in one of their two locations, 364 College Avenue and 1102 Tiger Boulevard in Clemson. If you're not in Clemson to check out the experience, stop by online at www.tigersports.com. Again, tigersports.com for all your game day needs.